This is Matt at HP Gaming GameLINK. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's going on. I'm in some place where there's nothing. I'm trapped. I need your help. I need your help to get out of this place. I've only got my candle and I don't know how long that will last. I need to find a way out. I need to find a way out of the night cage. Hello again, my friends, and welcome back to yet another HP Gaming GameLINK video. Now, in case you weren't aware of what was going on in the opening tease there, we are taking a look at Smirk and Dagger's The Night Cage today. This is a deluxe all-in Kickstarter version, and we're going to take a look and show you what's inside the box. Very excited for this one, very much a Halloween-themed bit of craziness. And I'm looking to see what's inside the box, and obviously give a bit of a playthrough, maybe even a review before the end of the month as well. I'm excited to see what is contained here in this this crazy little abstract game of dread. So let's get down to the table, let's open her up and show you what's inside. All right, here is the box for The Night Cage. I have unfortunately started removing the plastic only because there is some crazy stuff here, and you can see, I mean, just the artwork. This is actually a foil. I don't know whether this is doing it justice here, but it's just an epic box. This, I almost wish this was embossed because that's just absolutely sick. And then you've got here, you know, how long will your light last, which is the whole effort of the game. You get the candle. When the candle burns out, if you haven't found your way out, you will be trapped forever in the darkness. And I really like this theme. This is one of the obscurer ones we backed on Kickstarter, but I'm excited for that. First and foremost though, let's get this out of the way. Plastic, of course, will go on the floor, and I'll just show you the back of this bad boy to give you a bit of an overview about what it's all about. Now again, this is a all-in version, so there's a few things in here that won't be in the normal edition, and there's a bit of an overview to give you an idea. You awake in the dark, your body cold, your mind blank. You have nothing but your fear, a candle, and a question: how long will your light last? Now, one thing that was really good about this, it's got a Dice app, which effectively allows you to have a look at the rules, set it up, and have it on a smart device as you play. So you've got a bit of an overview. So it teaches you how to play the game without the need of a rule book, which is awesome. But first and foremost, let's get inside this one and we'll show you what's in the core box itself. And if I lift the lid, you can see a little bit of that foil on there, which is just bloody fantastic. I love that. And then we've got the game itself. So, as you can see here, the rulebook is pretty straightforward. Actually, that's one thing I will check of late. No, nothing on the inside of that one there. Sometimes games do like to print the insides of their boxes with bits and pieces as well. There's nothing on that one there, which is fine. Let's have a look at the rulebook. It's a nice size, matches the box size, which is fine. Talks about the interactive game tutorial in the bottom there. Let's open up here. We've got, oh wow. That's you. How long will your light last in the middle of this place? It talks about you getting plunged into the darkness, the objective, lots of theme here, contents, materials, prisoner materials, so you get a certain player board, all sorts of bells and whistles here. The board itself is going to be very abstract. This is how it's going to move around the board, how your candle can move around, and you can only see what's in front of you. One space in front and behind. See, I mean, that's the sort of cavernous space. And of course, as is true of most of these things, you are not alone. That's the gate to get you out there. You need to find a key, but all the players in the game need to find keys and be on the gate space at the same time in order to escape. And if the number of tiles ever depletes, you lose the game. And of course, you're never alone. There is always something crawling around in the dark as well. Back of the rulebook gives you a bit of an overview of a turn progression, which is very, very cool. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go through this and be so excited that I'm going to give it a spin right away, which is just awesome. So we'll pop that one to the side, and then we'll have a look at the rest of the contents of this one here. All right, so we've got a few. This is the interactive game tutorial. You can download this code. I'll use that code and it'll give you access to that. So this app is a relatively new app. It's basically like a virtual tutorial system that shows you in 3 dimensions renders how to set up, how to play, that sort of stuff. And there's a whole heap of games available. The library is growing all the time. So if you haven't checked out Dice, I suggest you do it. Plastic bags for storage, always a good sign. We appreciate that very much. We've got what looks like all sorts of other components, deluxe components. Oh, that's right, because the tiles in this one aren't necessarily, I think, are they punchboard or are they harder materials? We've got candles here, so candle movers. Now, one thing I liked about this, they could have literally made one different, set of movers and just colored them different colors, but instead they actually made them different sizes. So you've got different size candles to represent different players. Now, I don't know about you, but if this is a game about making sure your light lasts as long as possible, I don't want to be blue. Blue is not having a good time right now, but you can move those around the board, and the fact that they are effectively, meeples and individually engraved and individually sculpted and carved, love that. They're really fantastic, and I think it just adds a bit more variety. And even you've also got colors and things as well that match the player boards, so you can sort of easily identify who is who in the zoo. We've got, let's leave those for a bit. Let's have a look here. We've got, these are the different player boards. You can gain nerve to help you out. I think you can actually have your candle go out. Yes. So if I look at this, I think this plastic can go away. So these are the individual player boards, just to give you a reference point for what you're doing. So it's acting as a player reference card as well as a player identifier as well. You can move one turn, and you have to, or you can stay on the space you're on. You have to discard a tile from the tile rack, and you get to gain a nerve token as well. And then on the other side, you've got lights out. So if your candle ever gets extinguished, you are too panicked, you may not stay where you are, you have to move around, but you're moving in the dark, so you don't know what you're going to be stepping onto when you move onto the next tile, and that is a terrifying thought. You've also got here what looks like different things you can do. Move again, stay, you may spend a nerve to do whatever you need to do, and there for the different colours. So you've got purple, a blue, red, yellow, and green. And I don't mind the little flame effects as well to match the colors. They're quite cool. I like that. Then we've got, let's have a look here. This is our discard board. So the discards, basically this will tell you there's 5 start tiles, there's 4 gates, there's 7 keys, 10 wax eaters, and then there is 7 keepers, pit fiends, pathless, and then omens, which are the boss monsters, and then the different crossroads and straits themselves. So as you discard tiles from the rack, they would stack up here. At a glance, you would then know, okay, if there's only 10 straits and there's 9 there, there's only 1 more in the game, in the rack. And obviously, if all the gates are discarded, if you have 4 gates here, you lose because you can't escape, which is just crazy. And then on the other side here, I think it's the same thing. It just is just double printed, but it gives you, oh no, this is a more advanced mode for 4 prisoners. So it tells you what starting tiles to start with. You get +4 in advanced mode, etc. So yeah, you can make the game harder or easier depending on how crazy you want it to be. Oh, sorry, 5 prisoners there. So there's actually less in a 5-player game. We've also got these crazy little doovers here. Now these are the objectives. I've just noticed something else that I'm really excited about. These are the objectives. Now these are actually cast pewter keys. They could have just been chipboard, but they've decided to go all out. Now this is not something that is exclusive to the All-In Deluxe Edition. This is what's in the base game, these metallic keys. Now these are tactile, add a great table presence. Look at that. Skull key, why not? You've got to try and collect all the keys. Now I do like as well, they're slightly different finishes, which makes them all unique. And I think, I mean, obviously you have to be careful because if it is pewter, it will bend easily. So obviously we have to be careful with those. There's quite a bit of weight to those, which is awesome. I love that. And what a table presence. I'm going to pop those back in their bag because I just don't want them to get damaged with anything else sitting on top of them. There we go, they're all back in there, nice and easy. And then we've got the tiles. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but on the outside of the board, there is actually markings of, it's actually all printed in. So you've got different players trying to escape different parts of the night cage as well, which is really fantastic. Now, I think there's a couple of different options with the tiles here. I'm just gonna grab that out of the way so I can have a look and show you what's inside. On the side of the box too, you've got the guys trying to escape, all the different things. And on the base of the box, we have this beautiful symbol of what looks like a start space. Now the cracks, I think, denote the fact that this might fall away if you step off it. There's a candle. He's just really concerned for his own well-being, which is fair enough. Okay, we have the board at the bottom of this one here. Now the board is actually quite large, so I'm going to try and get a bit of an overview. It talks about the compass rose directions, only because in the dark it can be hard to navigate, and once you've set the board you want to set it so you know what's going on. You've got a space for keys there, and if you have a look at the title of the game, you've got one of the little prisoners there in the cage. Now the board itself is made up of those hexes, and if you were to make your way effectively off the board in this direction, you'd come on the other side, so the board doesn't really end, it just keeps going and going. And I believe it's double-sided as well. I don't think that has any major changes. It just is, depending on your preference. I think this one might be a 5-player version of the board. So it's slightly larger, more tiles to move around. So 1 to 4 players on this side, which is very cool that they expanded it. I think that was partly because they had a lot of stretch goals that were reached, which is great. And then here we have what looks like, so this is the just a chipboard version of the candle. Now the candle dispenser is awesome. This is literally how long will your light last, because when you make the candle up, it acts as a game timer. All the tiles get put in the rack, and as you draw tiles or have to discard tiles, if it ever runs out, you are done for. So the fact that you've got the candle melting down, it just looks awesome. There is a Perspex version of this as well, acrylic, which is in that bag that I removed earlier. So in fact, you know what, we won't even worry about that. We're going to go into the acrylic. We'll show you what that looks like. I'm just going to pop that down, and then we've got the tiles themselves. So we've got what looks like a couple of different versions. So these are just movement tiles. So these are straights, and obviously these become a pit if you move through them. Crossroads, more crossroads. I do like they're all printed and linked. So they're all making a set path, which is cool. On the other side, you've got more T-junctions and crossroads. And on the back, they are the pits. So if you fall into a pit, and you can elect to do that, you actually fall through the board and land on a different space. Now, the actual tiles themselves are just, generic, a little bit larger than Carcassonne tiles, for lack of a better term, just to give you an idea. But then on the back here, on this next set of bits and pieces, you've got monsters, pit monsters, keys, the gates themselves that you need to try and find. So, I mean, the artwork on this is just... The black and white thing, sometimes I don't like it, sometimes I do like it, but in this case, it's working for me. I do like that. And then you've got your monsters here as well. So you've got, I keep knocking the camera, damn it. So these guys, let me just pop them out. So yeah, I think these guys here, these are keepers. So these guys have keys in the back there. So you only come in from this end to collect the keys off them, just to, you know, make the game that much more tricky. Then you've got these guys, which are the wax eaters. Now they will effectively eat or consume your candle. I can't remember from way back when I was looking at it, whether they actually attack you yourself and take you out of the game. But then you've got the pit monsters, which will cause all sorts of trouble if you try and fall into a pit. That's them there. And even though it's all black and white and abstract, I'm digging the abstract nature of the game. I think it's, I don't know, something to be said for a little bit of crazy, which is fine. Then we've got what looks like some more. These ones are like a collapsible floor. So as you come through those ones, once you've come through them, they collapse into pits. Oh, look, you can see there's a little person there as well getting stuck in on the side of the pit. Oh, gosh, detail, detail, detail. I kind of love that. We've got more wax eaters, and then we've got a couple of the boss monsters here. So this is a pathless. So you can see it's all teeth, eyeballs, and no path whatsoever. That is something you do not want to have sneaking up behind you in an alleyway. I think there's actually a snarling face with the teeth, and then there's just a mess of tentacles and crazy. Yeah, no, and another pit. That I would not want to have coming up behind me in the dark. That's not a good idea. And you've even got these little omen dudes as well. Now, I believe the omens, I think they go this way. I'm not entirely sure. I think there's only 2 of those in the game, or 2 of each of the boss monster if you choose to use them. And I think the 2 omens, if they're ever revealed, I think, yeah, something incredibly bad happens, but I'll have a look at that and let you know. I do think as well, like the tiles, they're quite nice, but I think at one stage they were potentially looking to upgrade these into an acrylic, like a proper printed acrylic token, which would have like a heavy weight. Part of me remembers seeing an update on the Kickstarter that it was just too finicky and people would have to pull off layers upon layers to actually get them to work properly, and the plastic and the wrap and everything would have to come off it, and then the tiles would scratch. It would just be, you know, messy business. And I think they decided to just make the other components, the acrylics. You know, if I'm wrong, it'll pop up on screen. Again, more tiles, more pathways, more of the crazy, more pit monsters and everything else as well, which is quite cool. The board we've already talked about. We've got some nerve tokens here. Now these tokens are from the chipboard version. There is acrylic versions of those, so I'll show you a comparative difference in a moment. But you gain those. You can only gain 2 at a time. We've got a first player marker here, I believe, which is one of the prisoners coming through the tunnel. I do like they've made the prisoners pretty much abstract. So, you know, oh, there he is, very sad. Here, he, she, they, who knows? That looks pretty intense and pretty much with the theme, which I love. And then I was talking before about, you know, the boss monsters and everything else as well. So those tiles all take up about 1 square on the map. But if you get 2 of those boss monsters, then we get, boom, this dirty great big thing, which appears on the map. Now, if that hasn't freaked you out, yeah, I don't know what will. That is bloody terrifying to see that appear on the board. And it's massive. It's like a whole quarter of the board just gets swallowed up by this thing. And I think on the back, it is literally one big gigantic pit of death and destruction. Like, it's not just a matter of, like, hey, you got boss monsters that move around. Let's just make something that is literally obscure as hell and just chuck it, boom, in the middle of the board and cause some serious havoc. That's awesome. I love that. It is just huge. Now, we were talking about nerve tokens and things before. Let's have a look at the acrylic bits and pieces that are here, some of which look like they've already popped out, but that's okay. Let's have a look. Now, again, I think these have to have the plastic taken off them. Yes, you can see here. So this is the acrylic one. It's much thicker. It's a Perspex acrylic, and it's got the little bits here that you actually have to remove. I think they intended to have that on as a bit of a protector, but this is just, it's just not going to cut the mustard, so to speak. So that's the acrylic token versus the chipboard token. Now, the chipboard is actually slightly larger by a few mil, but it's nowhere near as thick. The acrylic token just has much more weight to it, and I think if you pull off the back as well, I don't know, my one concern is it's going to get fingerprinted and all the rest of it. So it's a bit of extra work, but I don't know, something about the shine on those, particularly if you're playing this by candlelight, that's going to be pretty intense. A nice shine on those. The quality of the print job is actually a little bit clearer. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but the acrylic component, it's quite nice. I didn't expect it to be as nice as it was. Again, concerns though that you know, too much rubbing together is going to cause trouble. We've got a first player marker in here, which I think is made of the acrylic as well. If I have a look here, yep, so that's the first player marker there. And that one again, I want to take time to peel all this off, but I also don't want to do it until I start playing, but I'm gonna, just for you. Oh wow, yeah, that's nice. I think it's a slightly different shape. Oh, that's very satisfying. Look at the gloss. I almost want to use that as a coaster, but I won't, because that would be ridiculous and would ruin the game. Let's move the boss over here. So I think it's, again, slightly larger maybe. Yeah. You're seeing me in the reflection too, which is very cool. And you've got one side that's gloss and one side that's matte, which is interesting. So that's quite cool. I like that too. All right, more plastic for the floor. And then we've got here the candle tower, I guess, and that's all in the acrylic too. So when that is put together, it'll look the business, and it all slots together reasonably easily, I would imagine. Now the candle topper, does that go at the top or at the base? I'm not sure. I would assume it would be the base, because otherwise everything would fall out onto the floor. There you go. You've got, oh wow, so you've got here, you've got the wick, and then you've got the wick being burnt to nothing. So there's obviously a certain way that goes together. And again, we've got here, if I can find the edges, wow. Yeah, again, matte finish, shine. Oh, that's bloody beautiful. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna, yeah, okay. All right. Oh, candle burning. I do like that too. And it's actually the candle burning and the pooling at the bottom of it as well, which is great. I love it. Something about deluxe components. That's a nice shine too. So I think that's on the outside. So the matte side is going to take all the cards and everything else as well. I'm going to have a quick look in the rule book, and I'll put it together for you off camera so you can see what it looks like fully assembled. Oh man, it just looks great. So this is all hollowed out on the inside, and you've got the outside, which looks like a proper candle, and you've got the light at the top, which is awesome. I just can't quite seem, I mean, look, if I've got this wrong and I'm pulling plastic off left, right, and center, and I shouldn't be, please let me know. I mean, obviously it's too late because I've already done it, but I just like the feel of these components. Again, table presence in spades. And I think the eeriness of the setting, such a satisfying noise, is quite nice as well. It's such a simple, abstract idea, but look, I guess, okay, it's going to be luck of the draw with the tiles and things as well, but I don't know, something about it speaks to me. I'm digging it. More of the same there as well, which is brilliant. Brilliant. I'll get this one off here too. Again, if I've done it wrong and I've taken off the bits that I shouldn't have taken off, oh well, just don't do it to your game. Nice gloss. Look at that. I suppose if you get like not a bit of Windex or whatever, but something you can give it a bit of a clean, that would do the job. Let's see if I've got this correct here. Let's pop this one in here. Slot. Push. No, I'm not going to go in there. That's no good. Let's see what we've got here. Let's go. And then after a bit of stuffing around, we have a fully assembled acrylic tile rack. So once you get your tiles, you pop them in here. Let's see, we've got one. I'll put some more in there. So I think, yeah, there was originally going to be more. So you shuffle them all together, chuck them on. And maybe the blank pit side is meant to be face up, so you don't know what it is you're drawing until you draw it. I think that's probably the way to go. There you go. So they all slide in here all the way up, and then when it's on the table, you actually draw them and then reveal them and place them where you need to place them. But it's got a semi-transparency as well. The fact that you've got the full candle on the sides and the burning down candle, so as you play the game and the tiles get less and less and less, there's that feeling of dread, of chaos as these things are drawn. Absolutely fantastic. And the good thing is with the box here, I believe, if all goes well, you can actually leave this, you will be able to actually leave that set up inside. I probably will disassemble after each playthrough though, just because. Yeah, but I don't know, that I like that. Now we've also got these little, I think they're little battery operated candles, just to add to the theme. So there's 5 of these candles, 1 per player, and they are literally battery operated candles. I don't know if they've got some light in them. Let's see. Whoa, hello. Now, isn't that awesome? Have this late at night, pop it in the box, or pop it on the side of the board, 1 per player. Play in the dark, absolute pitch blackness with this, or just these lit up. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I love that. That's absolutely brilliant. Simple candle, nothing special about them. The stuff you can find at $2 stores, but the fact that they've bothered to include those in the all-in, that's really, really great. I love that. And it all fits in 1 box too, which is fantastic. Now, true to form, I can never just go, all in just the one thing. There's always that one little bit extra. So give me a moment, I will clear this away. Or should we just do it? Maybe we should just do it. What do you think? We've got this nice setup here. Let's just do it. Give me a moment. With the click of my fingers, we're all set up. Isn't that amazing? Fantastic. Look at those special effects. Now, the one thing, I do have something else I want to get through for you. I'm just going to grab it and we'll talk about what it is. Basically, the little candle tokens to move around the board are one way to do it, but if you really want to go with a theme, you'll need a set of these. Now, these are actual prisoner movers, and I believe there are 5 individual sculpts that you can play as, and obviously first player would get the first choice and so on around the table. That's how I would decide, but they are a fully reproduced or fully created pewter, and they have, again, oh my goodness, these things, let's go through these. There is 5 of these wonderful, wonderful little tokens, and I'm going to give you a bit of an overview about all of this. Here we go. Look, so you've got here, this is a friend holding the candle, bent over, the hopelessness of it all, a little bit of flashing, which I don't mind, and not flashing because he's nude or she's nude or they're nude, flashing because of the pewter sculpt, holding onto the candle there, as you can see, and the rib cages, malnourished. Oh my gosh, the spine, the desolation of this poor soul trapped inside the night cage. Moving that around the board is terrifying because that could very well be your fate. And then here, let's see, let's get these out of here because this plastic container is just rubbish. We've got what looks like, they make a great metallic sound as well. We've got another sculpt here clutching desperately to the light as much as possible. The detail on these things is great. And you've got what looks like, they're all wearing like little prisoner masks, sort of non-identifying, which is awesome. I love that. Holding onto the candles, fantastic. And you got a crawling prisoner, crawling through the tunnels, crawling through the night cage, holding on desperately. This one looks like he or she is injured as well. Again, that desolate rib cage, malnourished, almost skeletal thing, holding onto the hands there, desperately trying to find a way out. Oh my goodness, you feel pained. You feel pained for these people. And then we've got this fellow or person here with their candle, clutching in the darkness, trying desperately to find a way out, looking at all the passageways around them. So it makes you wonder whether the caverns are quite low, which is, each individual piece here is just beautiful. I don't know. I can't decide which pathetic soul I want to play as first, but there are just so many options here. I'm digging it. I'm absolutely digging it. I love it. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. Love the shoes, love the bag. That is it though. That is all the bits and pieces we have for the night cage. Let's come on out and we'll tell you about what's coming up next and when you might even see a bit of a playthrough or a review of this one. And there it is, folks, the contents of Smirk and Dagger's The Night Cage. Oh baby, I'm so pumped to play that in low light. I'm almost tempted just to bring it in here and do a solo playthrough because this atmosphere I've got here is perfect for what it is they were trying to create with this game. The whole tile placement, move and then remove the path you've just traveled along so you don't know what's behind you. You could move back one space and the tile you've removed might get replaced with a monster. what is behind the corner, what is around the corner, what's across from you, trying to, do you move to, you know, explore a bit more, or do you stay where you are to make sure that the key that you've lit up, you've already got a key, is ready for someone else to collect? But every time you stay, you run the risk of potentially causing trouble and being caught by a monster. That bloody monstrosity of a boss that, you know, covers a quarter of the board. You know, that's the sheer unknown of what comes beyond is fantastic. The theme of the game is perfect for the style of the mechanics that are in play here. I think they've done it really well. Smirk and Dagger have basically knocked this out of the park. Yes, I do think that luck is going to be a big element of this one. However, I think with the right bunch of people, you're going to get quite a few playthroughs of this in very, very quickly. And you're going to keep going until you get it at least once. This reminds me of my first experience with Pandemic. Now, Pandemic, historical game, millions of copies sold, huge amounts of variations. Wrath of the Lich King, a Warcraft version of the Pandemic system, is coming out. So hugely successful. And when I first played Pandemic, there were 3 of us at the table, and we must have played 4 games on the trot because we were desperate. We were so close that first game, but it just kept us coming back for more until we beat it. Have we kept playing since we've beaten Pandemic? Yes, of course we have, because it's such a great game. We've used that to introduce other people. This has elements of the Pandemic style of luck that once you beat it, you know, I don't think you'll be like, oh, we've beaten now, we'll move on. This is something that you're going to be bringing out every Halloween, every time you need a scary playthrough, every time you and your scary wannabe mates get together and looking for some frightful fun in the dark with those candles. The mood is set, the board is ready to go, and you're off to the races. Put a Arkham Horror-esque soundtrack on in the background, and this is just going to go off the charts. Is it for everybody? I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Once I have a few playthroughs, I'll do a proper review for it. But there you go. That's the unboxing for the Night Cage. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying Spooktober. There is some crazy stuff still on the way, including some Arkham Horror content, as I've just mentioned. And who knows, if I enjoy this one, I might try and get a playthrough done before the end of the month as well. For those of you who are aware, we've now got DMs for hire. If you're looking for Dungeons & Dragons stuff, you can get in touch there. Thank you, as always, to our Patreon supporters. We really appreciate you guys allowing us to do everything that we do. For those of you looking to get copies of games, by all means, jump on the website. Otherwise, make sure you hit the subscribe button in the bottom corner. Give the video a like, please, and stick around and watch some other great gaming content here on GameLink. Until next time, I will see you soon, and stay away from the dark.